It's Taylor Hart here from Respect My Region, here for an episode of Blunt Talk in the witching hour because it is just a couple of days before Halloween. Well, I guess today is now Halloween, All Hallows Eve, you could say. So I am here to do a Blunt Talk in the middle of the night, which is really in the middle of the day for me, let's be honest, because I'm usually up super late anyways. So this is like right up my alley, and this is like right where I need to be. So I've got the vibe right in my apartment right now. I got candles lit. I got the blunt lit already, which I'm really excited about my blunt of the week this week, because it is truly a very special, momentous occasion. We have the House of Cultivar Respect My Region collab. This is the 7 days a week strain. It comes in a dope little box here. This is available on the shelf in Washington State right now. You know how cool it is that Respect My Region has flower on the shelf in Washington State? That is honestly one of the coolest things. And all of us at Respect My Region, or a majority of us, have been in cannabis or around cannabis since before it was legal. And so the fact that we have a legal strain on the market, look at that, 7 days a week. Of course, I have the light here. This is gonna blind us really quick, but I want you to see this in its entirety, in its beauty. Look at that. I'm gonna open this up really quick. It smells so good. It's like a nice creamy, it's got like a savory funk on the front end and then a nice creamy gas on the back end. But look at these cute little nuggies. It's a little out of focus here because my camera's set to be focused, but it's beautiful flower here. Super out of focus. You're not going to be able to see that. Check the videos, check the photos that Respect My Region has and House of Cultivar has on it because it is wicked. So let's get back to the vibes. But anyways, I've already smoked through an eighth of this, so I know thoroughly how well this smokes. It really truly is a really smooth phenotype that that Joey and Mitch at Respect My Region helped pheno hunt alongside House of Cultivar. Shout out Fountainhead Seeds. Their genetics that they're breeding has been incredible as of lately. And just like the exploration of it, although I'm super tired of like the wedding cake crosses and the roses crosses, you have to go through a lot of those different crosses and a lot of those phenos to find the one that truly works. And so we found this pheno of the 7 days a week, which is the 41 OG and the disco strain crossed together. So Gelato 41 with OG Kush crossed with the disco strain, which the disco strain was actually picked up by Burner and joined into the Cookies fam lineup. So this has got some wicked genetics for you. And it smokes really smooth. It's a really happy, stony kind of a high. So I'm happy that it's the blend of the week for this week. It's just a surreal experience that I got to buy my own weed on the shelf from my job that I've been at for a few years now, which I've been working at Respect My Region the entire time that I've been at Dockside. So shout out Dockside for picking that shit up and selling the House of Cultivar RMR collab. And shout out House of Cultivar for even opening up their canopy for us. And shout out to RMR for just pheno hunting a supremely delicious strain. I'm proud of the work that my team has done and all of the things that we've done to get us to this point. So supremely psyched. So if you can find some on the shelf, go buy this shit before it's gone. I believe only 400 units went out of this, so it's supremely limited, and I'm going to say supremely like 12 more times just because it's been in my head all day, so don't ask why. Anyways, so I'm stoked. I'm going to be smoking on this throughout this blunt talk here. But really, I just kind of wanted to take a moment here because I like this time of the year. I like the changing of the seasons, and our seasons are finally starting to change out here in Seattle, and it kind of feels like fall out there now. The leaves are changing, it's getting dark, and really like storms are starting to roll in more, lots of rain coming in finally. Thank God smoke season is over. And so in the month of October, obviously Halloween happens at the end of October. And so I always like to watch different horror movies. I like to watch different just spooky things, more like fall related kind of movies and stuff. And it's something I've been doing my whole life. My dad raised me on like zombie movies, and raised me on horror. He plays a lot of like death metal, and I just grew up kind of in that like horror macabre kind of a way, and so it's always stuck with me. And so I just wanted to like kind of highlight some of my favorite like classic movies that I watch usually this time of the year, as well as some of like my favorite like music choices to listen to this time of the year, because there's definitely a lot of like spooky music out there. And I have a playlist on Spotify of just like spooky shit that I've collected throughout the years. And there's a lot of cool like spooky hip hop, as well as honestly just a lot of like movie scores are really great for this time of the year too. So I got a lot of suggestions. So if you need any suggestions on like what to watch, what to listen to right now, I got a whole bunch of stuff. I even pulled a few different strains that you can go look for at dispensaries, other than the 7 days a week strain, which is what I'm smoking on right now. But there's a few other like spooky strains that you can go to get into the mood. Phantom Cookies is one, which is like more of a happy euphoric sativa. There's a Ghost OG strain you can find, which is more chill. Ghost Train Haze is one of my favorite strains because it's like really super intense cerebrally, but like happy at the same time. So it doesn't make me all like anxious and paranoid. Um, Death Star is a strain that is like super heavy indica, which is great for people. You can go for like a little Durban Poison, which would be really fitting for Halloween, or a little bit cuter Candy Kush, always a good choice too for Halloween. Pair that with your favorite like Reese's or Hershey's bar or something like that, and you got a good combination there. So roll up something like that and get into the vibe this Halloween with me. Because I'm definitely, after I finish this, I'm going to go watch a horror movie. I just don't know what yet. I even dug out though. I dug out some of my like old. I have a bunch of like VHS tapes and some DVDs, and so I dug out some of my favorite horror movies that I have because I think horror movies are better witnessed on like VHS, just because of the gritty quality. So I fucking love the fact that I have Night of the Living Dead on fucking VHS, and it's from Blockbuster Video. Go figure. But I have that and Return of the Living Dead as well. I have both of them. I don't think I'm gonna plug in my VCR this year to watch anything. I might plug it in a couple of, I don't know, maybe soon. I've been itching to do it. I dug all of them out. But Night of the Living Dead is like classic kind of zombie movie. It changed the game in horror for it. Another freaky one, Bloodsucking Freaks, that I have on VHS. This was a movie that I got from my dad because he, like I said, introduced me to a bunch of horror. And then good old classic Casper. Can't go a year at Halloween without watching Casper. I fucking love this movie. I always have loved this movie. In fact, I have 3 copies of this VHS here at home. I have 3 copies of it because I love it so much. I just rewatched it like a week or two ago, and it's one of my favorites. So if you haven't seen Casper, I swear to God, we are not going to be friends anymore because it is incredible. And if you haven't seen it, come over and I will watch it with you because I love it. So those are some of the VHSs that I have, and then I have Rob Zombie's Halloween. I don't have the original Halloween or anything, and honestly, I don't really watch this one that much. But you cannot not mention Halloween and the entire franchise and the entire series if we're talking about good movies to watch during Halloween. The original one, in my opinion, with Jamie Lee Curtis is definitely the best one to go for. But there's a ton of them in the series. There's also other series like A Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, all of those that have like tons of them in them. In the series. There's also if you like stoner horror movies, there's a stoner horror movie series called Evil Bong, and it's exactly what you think. It's an evil paranormal bong or whatever, right? But there's not just one movie in this series. There's 9 Evil Bong movies. I'm gonna let you simmer on that for a second. 9 Evil Bong movies. That's insane to me to think that somebody thought that that was a good enough idea that they would make 9 fucking movies. But whatever. Funny shit. And definitely like worth it if you want to get like silly stoned with your friends and watch something kind of ridiculous. But at the same time, Beetlejuice is a great one to watch too. I just rewatched that not that long ago. And it was so much better than I remembered because it had been years and years and years since I had watched Beetlejuice. And it helps if you take a little mushrooms beforehand and get a little on in a different world because Beetlejuice was fucking great the last time I watched it. So highly recommend that. I have some more Rob Zombie because you cannot go wrong with House of a Thousand Corpses. This is like for sure a great Halloween one just because I feel like it embodies the spirit of dressing up and, you know, murdering people, which is not necessarily something that I condone. But in the Halloween spirit, I think it definitely makes sense. And also Devil's Rejects, if you want to do like a back to back on these ones, because The Devil's Rejects is, I actually feel like a better movie than House of a Thousand Corpses is. I at least I like it a little bit better than House of a Thousand Corpses, but House of a Thousand Corpses is the cult classic that I think everybody goes to for Halloween. But if you're talking horror movies, I definitely think Devil's Rejects is a better horror movie than House of a Thousand Corpses. But they're both great. Another one that is cult classic and scary as fuck is The Ring. When homegirl climbs out of the well and then climbs out of the TV and kills dude, that shit scarred me for life. Like I still think about it all the time and it still scares the fuck out of me. And if y'all don't know, The Ring, part of it was actually filmed out here in Seattle. And if y'all really know me, you know that I went to high school out in fucking bumfuck Monroe, and the house in The Ring is from a little place right outside of Monroe in the outskirts, right there outside of the city limits. So, cool little fun fact about The Ring. I grew up right around the house that is in The Ring, which is kind of creepy, but it was really cool at the same time because I was super into horror movies and shit like that. So, another one that my dad and I really loved watching together and watched a bunch. Evil Dead. Classic fucking movie right here. This is a Sam Raimi movie, and he did this, I think he was 21 when he filmed this movie, and it was groundbreaking at the time. Bruce Campbell's in it, and Bruce Campbell is one of my favorite like comedic horror actors because he's just super funny. I don't know what happened to Evil Dead 2. I used to have all 3 of them. Here's the third one, Army of Darkness. I used to have all 3 of them, but I don't know what happened to Evil Dead 2. It's somewhere. I need to replace it. I do have the remake, though, which was pretty good. Not as good as the original, though. I like the original a little bit better. So, the Evil Dead series is definitely one that I highly recommend on Halloween, especially if you've never seen them. It's definitely a good one to go. You can do all 3 if you want to do like an all-day movie watch, or you could just do like the first one or whatever, but definitely highly recommend that. Some other like really creepy movies that House on Haunted Hill, or really any haunting kind of movie. I think I have an American Haunting as well, which was not a very good movie. I don't recommend it, but I bought the DVD. What are you gonna do? But House on Haunted Hill is a really good one, kind of a classic movie. I think it's been done quite a few times. Um, and then one of my favorite horror movie series ever is by Eli Roth. It's Hostel. Hostel is a crazy movie about these backpackers that go to Europe, and they get kidnapped and tortured and killed, and it is fantastic. Eli Roth is just an incredible director who really does a lot of paying homage to the classics and really looks in depth at what is the root of the horror and really tries to expose that in a really beautiful way. And lately, the past couple of weeks, I've been binge watching. Eli Roth has a history of horror on, I think it's on Amazon Prime. It might be on a couple of other things. I don't know. I'm watching it on Amazon Prime right now. But if you're interested in like knowing about the history of horror, or just like getting to dip your toes in horror movies without actually having to sit down and watch it, if you're like squeamish or don't, or like get too freaked out by jump scares and stuff, it's a good way to kind of watch the movies and see the cool parts of it without having to actually watch the movie and subject yourself to that kind of trauma and terror and whatnot. So, but it's really cool if you like the behind the scenes and learning like who created some of these movies, because you'd be really surprised at some of like the normal actors in Hollywood who have been in some pretty crazy, grotesque horror movies. So it's kind of cool to see the behind the scenes. So if you're into that, go to Amazon Prime and watch like The History of Horror by Eli Roth. It's a really good documentary series. So, and then the last movie that I had on hand in my own personal collection is High Tension. This was originally, I believe, a French horror movie, I want to say, called Haute Tension, which is just French for high tension. But it was a great kind of thriller that keeps you on your toes the entire time, and really scared the living shit out of me the first time I watched it. My dad and I watched it, I think, together for the first time, and it was a really good one. So those are some of that are in my collection personally that I highly recommend you watch. Some other really great classics are like Scream, obviously. Alfred Hitchcock, any of his movies. Psycho is a classic, obviously, as well. The Exorcist, Rocky Horror Picture Show is always a good one, too, for a little campier kind of vibe. What else? Oh, one that I like to watch, not necessarily on Halloween, but the day after Halloween, I love to watch Nightmare Before Christmas. I feel like that's just like the kind of vibe that Nightmare Before Christmas is not necessarily Halloween, but the day after. And then one that I really think is like the spookiest to watch, like during the hours where people are out trick or treating and you don't know if somebody's going to come knock on your door, watch Strangers. Because I feel like anytime somebody knocks at your door to go trick or treating, you're going to like freak out and think, like, oh my God, is somebody going to be coming in here to murder me, kind of a thing. So if you really want to freak yourself out that way, watch Strangers while people are trick or treating. Um, a couple of other funny, like, stoner movie type horror movies to watch on Halloween are like Shaun of the Dead. Scary Movie, obviously, is a great one. Any of the scary movies are great ones to do. Um, and then some like more Disney family oriented ones, wholesome, if you will. Halloween Town, It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. If you don't watch It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, every other Halloween. It doesn't have to be every Halloween. I don't watch it every Halloween, but I definitely revisit it at least every 2 years, 3 years or so. If you don't watch that and you don't like that, I'm sorry, but we cannot talk and we cannot be friends anymore, because It's the Great Pumpkin. Charlie Brown is a goddamn classic and lives in my heart forever. The other ones like Haunted Mansion, Hocus Pocus are also some other classics that I highly recommend you go watch. But if you're more into like TV series and watching like TV series, obviously there's like American Horror Story is a really popular one from modern time horror, but you could rewatch Simpsons Treehouse of Horror as well. There's I looked it up earlier. I think it said there's 33 different episodes in that whole anthology series. You could watch Tales from the Crypt, good old Elvira, The Twilight Zone, and Unsolved Mysteries. Those are all like super, super good options to go for them. So if you want to watch any of those, you can also holler at me. I'm down to watch any of those for Halloween or just in general. I love watching horror movies, and I like doing it with other people because then I don't get as scared. Living by myself in the city, it's a little freaky sometimes for me when I watch horror movies, because I feel like somebody's gonna come knock on my door or like come creep up on the window and just be like staring at me, and that's kind of fucking freaky. So I'm not about that. But if you have any suggestions for me on horror movies that you don't think that I've seen, that you think that I need to watch, holler at me, let me know, because I'm always down to talk about different horror movies and talk about different shit. So, uh, pop in with your suggestions, if you will. Now I want to talk about some just like spooky music and like some of the like classic Halloween songs. So a bunch of the movies that I listed earlier, a lot of those movies, like the score behind them is really great music to just like listen to get you in the Halloween vibe, because it's inherently spooky music because it's meant to like scare you in the movie. So it's definitely worth listening to those soundtracks for sure. But there's some other like classics to put on, like if you're throwing a Halloween party or some shit and you want to just like, or if you want to just get into the vibe, you can listen to like Stevie Wonder, Superstition. Uh, Obviously, we have to mention Michael Jackson and Thriller, because when that music video came out, it was like a game changer. It was also kind of like one of those moments where it was like, wow, are zombie movies like really going to be just a fad and then come to an end? Because making a pop music video full of zombies kind of felt like the end of a genre, but at the same time, it like also made, I feel like, made zombies more popular because it was fucking Michael Jackson doing a zombie movie but a music video at the same time. If you haven't seen that whole music video, you should definitely go watch that as well, because it is a cinematic masterpiece as well as just like a musical masterpiece. Obviously Michael Jackson is like way up there, in the up and up on the list of talented musicians. But as far as like impact goes as well, that song in general had like a lot of impact on the industry, both music and film. Some other classics, obviously from Nightmare Before Christmas, you have the This Is Halloween song, which is super iconic. And I find myself quoting and singing all the time, even when it's not even Halloween or even fall, like middle of spring, I'll quote it and sing it all the time just because it's really catchy. Or like the song at the end, towards the end of the movie when he's in Christmas Town or whatever, and he's in the snow and he sees it for the first time and he's like, "What's this? What's this?" I say that all the time, and if you've seen that movie, you know, and you probably quote that too all the time when you see something random. You're like, "What's this?" Um, Anyways, also I Put a Spell on You by Screamin' Jay Hawkins. There's been like a million different covers of that as well. I think Nina Simone's got a wicked cover of that. But I mean, I'm sure you can find anybody with a cover of that. Go to your local karaoke bar, and I'm sure you'll find somebody with an awesome cover of it too. Which honestly, I think Halloween karaoke would be some of the most interesting karaoke because you would have people dressed up in all different kinds of outfits, singing all different kinds of weird songs. If you know of any karaoke nights on Halloween, let me know. I'm trying to go explore some things. I might have some shrooms for you too, if you want some. So holla at your girl. Nothing's for sale. I'm not illegally doing anything over here. I should stop implicating myself. Anyways, Monster Mash is like the coolest, most wholesome fucking song that you could probably think of to play on Halloween. And I definitely recommend if you have kids, if you're around kids ever or anything like that, play the Monster Mash with them because it is so fun to see kids start acting like monsters. It is probably the funniest thing, honestly, to see kids on Halloween, especially after they've eaten a lot of candy and get super sugar high. It's pretty great. Anyways, if you don't like kids, then fuck that. Uh, just get drunk, get high, get on with your night. There's some other great songs from different like movies, like the Halloween themed song, the murder score by Bernard Herrmann from Psycho, where they're like like killing the chick in the shower. Iconic scores for movies. I'm telling you, that's some of the best music to play. Or like if you're just trying to set a spooky vibe in your house, you could just turn on like they have a bunch of these on like Spotify and like YouTube and shit. It's just like noises of like dungeons screaming, like haunted, like spiritual, like shit like that. That sounds super spooky. So, I don't know, just roll up a joint and put on some of that and freak yourself out like that. Maybe get some chains and like jiggle them every once in a while so that it sounds spooky. I don't know. But I would be absolutely fucking devastated if I didn't mention the number one Halloween song in the world ever written ever. And if you can guess this, I would give you $20 because nobody ever guesses it, but it's honestly the best thing in the world. So I'm gonna give you a moment to think about it. What do you think is the most iconic Halloween song ever written, ever performed, ever seen the light of day? Werewolf Bar Mitzvah from 30 Rock by Tracy Morgan / Jordan / TGS's greatest actor and greatest performance by a Jewish werewolf ever. Fun fact, the lyrics for that were also written by Donald Glover. Yes, the childish Gambino helped write Werewolf Bar Mitzvah, which is, to me, the most iconic classic Halloween song that was ever written and ever performed. And the funniest part about it is it only spent like a few seconds on air. I think it was like maybe 10 seconds that this thing was shown on 30 Rock. And it's become a cult classic and even got a full-length song made out of it and a music video to go with it. So after you're done watching this live stream, you should go to YouTube and type in Werewolf Bar Mitzvah and watch it and just feel and understand how your life is going to change after that, because it's honestly changed my life for the better, I would say. So Um, that's a lot of my personal favorite picks for my favorite Halloween songs, music to listen to, and movies. Um, I didn't talk about any of my favorite hip hop that I listen to, because there's definitely, a lot of people are always like, well, I don't really like holiday music because it's not always like, I don't know, they just don't like that kind of vibe of holiday music. But there are certain things that have like captured the spirit of it without inherently saying, "Hi, I'm a holiday song." And so there's a lot of good hip hop. Ice-T is a really good rapper to listen to during Halloween because he raps a lot about, growing up and living in Los Angeles, he talks about life down there and what it was like, and so he raps a lot about how people would get murdered and killed all the time down in that area and how scary it was and shit. So, very, very cool to listen to for Halloween though, because it really sets the vibe on that. So Ice T is a really good one to listen to. Obviously, you have people like Bone Thugs and Harmony who do songs like Mo Murder, and that just has kind of like a creepy kind of vibe to it. DMX has some stuff that's kind of creepy vibes to it too. There's a few different other rappers out there too. Obviously, Ghetto Boys has a crazy, crazy joint with Mind Playing Tricks on Me that is inherently like Halloween esque, but I feel like losing your mental state is one of the scariest things, and that's why like the paranormal and like the possession movies are like really, really freaky to people, is because like losing your mental state is like a really, and losing control of yourself is like a really like spooky kind of scary thing to think about. And so that song I just feel like is kind of freaky like that. So there's a lot. I have a playlist on Spotify that you can check out. It's literally just called Spooky Shit I think it's on my playlist or on my profile. Taylor Hart, TaylorHaart, 3 A's in there. Go check that out. I think I have a link on my Instagram that can take you to at least my Spotify. Or you can just search for it. Or you can just honestly search for anybody else's playlist on Spotify because there's a lot out there with a lot of good Halloween music on there. So, but I do have one curated that you can go check out and take a look at. So, other than that, I'm about ready to go watch a horror movie. I don't know which one I'm going to watch yet. I was going to try and make a decision while um, filming this live stream here, but I did not make a decision, so it's going to be a gamble. So I'm glad that y'all tuned in for this late night spooky episode of Blunt Talk. The 7 days a week strain got me pretty toasty off of this, and I still have just a slight little bit left of this blunt. So I'm going to finish this up here and go make a cup of tea to curl up in bed so that I can go watch a horror movie for the night, and then wake up and watch Courage the Cowardly Dog because I'm almost finished watching the whole series because it is one of my favorite childhood cartoons and it just happens to be super spooky and creepy. So if you'd rather watch like an animated series and a cool little cartoon and you haven't seen Courage the Cowardly Dog, definitely go watch it because it's honestly so funny and kind of creepy and kind of scary at times. So it's a nice balance for yourself. And plus, Courage is one of the best animated dogs slash characters ever. So, anyways, this has been a great episode of Blunt Talk. Me, Taylor Hart. I will be back on, I think, next week as well. Tune in. I don't remember who the guest is. I have to look at the scheduling. It's been kind of wonky lately with people's lives. So we will see. But thank you for joining me tonight. And I will catch y'all later. Go check out all the other ones that have already played before this one. There's a lot out there because this is episode 41. So go catch up on all the other ones, and I'll check in with y'all next